I have a house, the bungalow detached house, which I rented to a couple. They paid 3 months. March onwards, they completely stopped paying rent and they didn't allow to enter us.
How much was the loss in the rent?
Oh, in that period of time was 24,500 something.
The day they left your property, you were chasing them that where are they going?
Where are they going?
Okay.
So we find out finally from the sources they moved to the Brentford.
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 Okay. The property your bad tenants bought in the other city, which is Brentford. So when you tracked them and you came to know that okay, they have bought another property from your payments.
From my payment.
You chased it.
Yeah, you have to chase it.
You have to chase it. Like where are they going?
Where are they
But
going?
many times it happens that they went away from your property, but you don't know. You just next morning you come and you see houses like this locked and they are gone. We covered many stories of landlord and tenants. LTB, landlord tenant board, we need to fix it, and there is an issue here in Ontario and across Canada. We covered many stories where the landlords were sufferer and they were not able to recover their rents from the bad tenants. Then these landlords, they went to the LTB, but after a long wait, there was success that they got an order in their favor. But what happened after that? The implementation part was missing, means they had the orders, but they were not able to recover their rents. We have such a landlord with us, one of the landlord whom we covered last year when he was going through all this hustle and bustle. Now finally he is with us again. He recovered his rent. How? He went to the LTB. He got his order in his favor. He went to the small court, got the orders in his favor. Then he tracked these bad tenants who went to other city. Then he applied to the city where they bought the property. Then he went to the employer where the bad tenants are working for the garnishment. But let's hear from this landlord about this long battle and how he recovered his $27,000, which was he was losing that rent from the bad tenants. Let's hear from him. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Can you share your story? What happened? Because we remember a year ago we interviewed you and you were struggling.
Right.
Because how much rent you lost. If we can remind us, you can walk us through your struggles.
Sure, definitely. Thank you. Thanks for coming today. Let me just recap what happened in the past. So what happened, I have a house, the bungalow detached house, which I rented 2023, October 1st, 2023, to a couple. I mean, they're both working very highly. I mean, they're in IT professional. Their combined income was 270,000. Good credit history, good everything was perfectly fine. They rented the house and they paid 3 months, October, November, December, and January onwards, they stopped paying the rent for this thing. So the first thing, they stopped paying rent, we approached them, what's the reason for that? So they start giving excuses that the property is not clean, you have to put lockbox in the bedroom or put the Cat 5 internet cable kind of thing. So they said we can meet some demand, certain demand cannot be met, I mean, because it's part of this tenant agreement. But March onwards, they completely stopped paying rent and they didn't allow to enter us. So we filed a case, N4 case, which is basically non-paying rent.
In LTB?
LTB. The LTB takes time, as usual it takes time, 5 to 6 months, and then we have hearing for that. So in that hearing, I mean, they still start arguing that he's not providing services and I'm not paying rent. But long story short, after 8 months, we won the battle and there's a court order that you have to pay entire amount, all the rent which is departed, and either you have to vacate the property, and once you terminate the property, then you start paying all the interest rate. So interest rate start from October 2024 after 1 year.
Okay, were they paying the utility bills or not?
No, we came after that, they stopped utility being paid also.
They stopped, okay.
Yeah. So they paid a little bit, some of them didn't pay, which we came to know after that.
Okay.
So in October, we got the order, LTB. LTB gave the order, but the tenant still occupying the property. They didn't vacate and they were not paying the rent as well. So it was double sword we were going through it. I mean, still occupying it and we are not paying rent. So we took this order, go to the small claim court.
So you won the order from LTB, that in your favor?
In my favor.
How much was the loss in the rent?
Oh, in that period of time was 24,500.
Okay, plus utility bills?
Utility bills, yes.
Okay, how much?
Somewhere around 500, 600. That's what not big amount. We didn't know much. After they vacant, we came to know. So we went.
But they exited the property easily, or how they went?
No, they didn't exit. So I filed a case in small claim court. There's an option. They also give the sheriff to evacuate them. In fact, so we submit the order. We've paid the fees, but there's a long queue in Brampton Court.
Okay. So
the sheriff don't come. I mean, they say it's almost 2 to 3 months we have to wait.
2 to 3 months
to evacuate them and kick them out. But we keep putting pressure on them, asking in this. Finally, on December 5th, he disappeared. He vacated the property.
Without sheriffs?
Without sheriff, and put the keys in the mailbox and opened all the house lights, and water was running inside the kitchen.
Okay. So in December 2023?
December 24, after we got this.
After you got, okay.
So one of the neighbor called me and he approaches. They says there's property is vacant. Nobody is there. Your light is on. Water is running out. Running. There's no dog. This guy have 3 big dogs also. So the dog was not there. So we immediately take over the property. We change the locks and everything. But by the time we almost lost more than $25,000 and plus all our expenses, everything. But what we did basically, one of the things which saved me a lot, the day he was vacating the property, neighbor called me, he said they are
going away. Yeah.
And I start chasing them. I sit down outside, I spend some time, find out where are they going. Because that's a key thing. Once the tenant is gone out, it's hard to chase them.
Yes.
Because once it disappeared, you don't know.
You don't know where they are. Then no agency will help you, either police or nobody will let you know where they are.
In fact, I was trying to hire the agency also, but they're hard to find out where they're gone, in fact. Especially when they left the city, in fact. It's very difficult.
So you mean to say the day they left your property, you were chasing them, that where are they going?
Where are they going?
Okay.
So we find out finally from the sources they moved to the Brentford, which is Ontario, outside GTA.
Yes.
Right, and we find out they move it, and then we start searching at the address. What basically happened is the payment which they stopped, they bought these 2 property.
Okay.
And so they bought the same rent, they stopped paying rent, and we find out the land registry on their name. But meanwhile, we find out his wife is working in the company, a well-known company.
In a multinational
company.
Okay.
So we went back again to the small claim court and put the garnishment that we want to recover our money as a co-tenant. She is entitled.
So those who don't know garnishment, what is garnishment?
Garnishment is basically, once we have an order from LTB, you can't do anything. It's useless. So you can go to the small claim court and ask them, I want to garnish this money which they owe me.
Means you can go after their employer.
Exactly.
That they are getting a salary.
They're getting salary.
Cut their salary. What is the limit of garnishment? How
there's a catch there. In fact, there's only 20% maximum they can take it.
Okay.
Of their paycheck. And that the maximum they have the time. So whatever you filled it, they cannot deduct more than that. There's a law there. So maximum 20%, which is peanut. I mean, in my case, it was less than $1,000 they were deducting it. But still owe big chunk of money.
Yes.
So what I did basically, I take the same order, and there's a third-party company called Open Room. I registered there and I filed there. They have a service where basically they report to the credit bureau. So I took all these names, put their case history and my LTB order. So they start reporting to the Equifax and all this thing, which was putting their credit history. And meantime, I find out the property which they own. I took the land registry document, went to the city, and local city, I go to the sheriff office and order for the seizure of the property.
Wow. So just to be clear, like the property your bad tenants bought in the other city, which is Brentford. So when you tracked them and you came to know that, okay, they have bought another property from your payments.
From my payment.
Then you went to the city of Brentford. To put a case against them for the seizure of their property. Okay, good.
But there's one catch also.
Okay.
I mean, you have to find out what asset they own it.
Okay.
I mean, that's how you can squeeze
How
them.
to do that?
So I went to the Ministry of Transport, find out their car which they own it. So they own 3 cars, but these 3 cars was leased by some Honda or some company.
Okay.
So you cannot seize them. Even if somebody, let's say, own the car, if you find out, police will not go after it. That asset, the car has to be in his possession, and you have to be tell them police that this car in this particular place, then only they can go after it. So it's very difficult to recover money in the asset which is movable asset,
Yes.
like car. I mean, the person can move anywhere. And so even though I have a 3 is car plate license, but they were registered with the financer.
But you said you went to the transport ministry.
Ministry of
Normally,
Transport.
when we go to the police or we go to the transport ministry, they don't disclose anything. They said this is a privacy information. We won't let you know. How you recovered those things?
That's true. That's true. So if you have plate number,
Okay.
those plate number you can go and search Ministry of Transportation.
I see.
They charge some fees.
Okay.
And they will tell the who own it.
Okay.
So you'll say the record just like
Okay. Who owns it and
who owns
their
it?
address also?
Their address is not there.
Okay.
But who owns it? So let's say in my bad tenant had the name, but it's financed by some other company.
Got it. Yes.
So actually, technically, they were the owner. I
Yes.
mean, although he owned the car,
yes,
he has
yes,
everything.
yeah.
So when I talk to my lawyers and they say it's very difficult to get the car because it has to be physically in the same city or somewhere.
Yes.
We can track it. In my case, I live in Mississauga, but they live in Brantford. It's very difficult to chase.
Okay.
So I left that car things and find out the property which they own it. And I go to the seizure. There's a 2 way you can do the property seizure. One is you can put on the lien.
Okay.
So the lien basically is when they sell it or when they renew
Yes.
it, then you do it.
Yeah.
But seizure of the property is basically the thing is which you can go after sheriff and tell them seize this property and sell it.
Okay.
I mean, even they were also surprised that such a small amount for $25,000, he's putting a stake $500,000 property.
Yes.
But I went after and I put the seizure kind of thing. So after a period of some time, I mean, he squeezed all the 4 way. There was garnishment on his wife's salary. There was a property seizure there, and plus their credit history was hitting on this thing. So, but the good thing is, court give order that you can start charging interest rate 7% per. I mean. Annum we can charge for that. So that was accumulating.
Okay.
So after some times he approached, he said, I want to do a payment, but only the court order, I'll not go for the interest, I will not go for the expenses.
Okay.
I said, no, I mean, you have to pay the whole amount,
Yes.
only then we
Yes.
can
Now
do
you
it.
are a defaulter, you have to pay full.
You have to pay full. So after negotiation, he said, I'll not pay you, I'll pay your lawyer. I said, okay, then I'll not trust you. You have to go to the lawyer.
Yes.
So we both hired the lawyer.
Okay.
Through lawyer negotiation, we came out to know. He transferred fund into my lawyer office, and then we gave all this notices that once we recover. So totally we recover almost court order plus interest rate plus lawyer expenses plus the fees. So it's more than $27,000 we recovered.
How much was the lawyer expenses approximately?
Oh, in my case, I spend a lot, but it can be avoidable. I mean, I spend almost $5,000 to $6,000.
$5,000 to $6,000 to lawyer.
Lawyer
Okay.
to this thing to recover all this
Okay.
money. But my main motive was basically to teach them lesson. To have, they should know that this is not easy to take.
Is not only teaching the lesson, you taught them a lesson, but overall you fought for your rights.
I fought for my rights.
You fought for your rights because everyone, I know so many landlords, we interviewed so many, and I myself feel very ashamed where I am living when you take someone other's rights. So you fought for yourself and you gave a hope to all those who are watching you,
Yeah.
all the landlords, those who are the sufferers. And I know many landlords, they have the orders in their hand, but they don't know what to do.
Exactly.
How to recover the money?
That's the lacking part. That's the advantage the bad tenant is taking
Yes,
it, right?
yes.
Even if you have order, you don't know how to execute to enforce
it.
them.
And we don't have that
System here.
Yeah.
So for enforcement, you have to go after the small claim, which is painful process. No doubt
Yes.
it was not easy for me.
Yes.
It was painful because you have to go a small claim and then find out the resources where you
Yes.
can claim it.
Yes.
But as a landlord, we have to do it. We have to do it. Otherwise, it will keep this. It's just like a virus, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's keep increasing and it's hurting all the landlord or investor. in
Because
this
bad
market.
tenants know that the system is like this, let's abuse
Let's
it.
abuse the system,
Yeah.
in fact.
So you recovered everything. What message you want to give to the landlord sufferers, those who are watching you, because there are thousands of stories, and our system, our Ontario province, it's under LTB, Attorney General, and they said we are working on the files. By October, we will fix this system, which is fair for landlords and tenants. What do you want to say to the landlords?
So, I mean, the landlord, first thing is, I mean, you have to have proper document because since I have her file, his wife employment letter.
Employment letter.
I can easily track them and go after the enforcement.
Keep the employment letters, keep their IDs with you when you give them on a lease. Okay.
Exactly. Even during the case, I contact their employer. I said, I'm the landlord. We are going here. Can you make sure he's working? Yeah, they said she's working in this one. This is the role, and confirm the salary.
Good.
So I didn't take it as a face value of the document. I called them employer and
you inquired everything. Okay, very
Similarly, when I chase them where they are going. Once the tenant gone, you leave the property. It's very difficult to chase them.
It's a very important part. Yeah, you chased it.
Yeah, you have to chase it.
You have to chase it. Like, where are they going? But many times it happens that they went away from your property, but you don't know. You just next morning you come and you see houses like this locked and they are gone.
That's the difficult part, because then there's no system you can track them. I mean, even one point of time I was trying to hire an agency, a secret agency who can follow it. But there's no guarantee. They charge 30 to 40% from you to recover the money.
There's no guarantee.
But there's no guarantee you will recover.
But if you have the IDs, the license, driving license, and go to the police and say, can you track which city they are living, they don't help it.
They don't help it, in fact, One of the interesting things happened, because when they file the rental applications, they give the previous address. So I approached the previous owner of that, in fact. They were in Etobicoke. I met them. And they said they did the same thing. So they know how to abuse the system. But they said, it's my small amount. I don't want to chase. I don't want to do it. So I asked him, can you help me? At least give me some witness, some evidence, so I can file it. They said, we don't want to do this because this is a small amount. But same tenant did the similar thing with us.
So they are into the series. They know the system series. And there was a recent case which we covered, 5-6 students, international students, and some work permits. One of the landlord, he was suffering. Then they had one of the objectionable flag outside just to scare the landlord. You might have seen that report.
Yes, I have seen that.
So what is your suggestion to that landlord?
I would say have the documentation. Know they, because
he has all the documentation. He has the IDs, he has the lease paper. They are not paying the rent, they are not paying the utilities, they are not talking, and they have a court date now.
Unless we have their employment, where they work, where they're earning the thing, we have to go after. And credit history. The two things is very important. Once you know the employer, and if you have the IDs, if they have code,
they have the IDs.
The first thing, go to the company like third party open room, start hitting their credit history.
Good.
So once they're hitting on Equifax, their credit history, which will impact personally. And that's the major thing they will do.
So open room help into
open room is help them. Exactly. Open room is really, there's another company called Front Lobby. Front Lobby is also there. So I approached both of them. And they both start reporting. In fact, the same order. Open room was very clear and they're very articulated. So they have special service like $70-80 they charge per month, which basically they're reporting to the Equifax. And that's very important. When their credit history heard, this is important because their future is on that. So even if you don't have an employment letter, they should go after with their credit.
So these are the important points. Have your tenants IDs, driving license, lease papers, their employment history, their credit history. Check with the employer. Don't go just on the documents. Check with the history. And then when they stop paying you the rents, same time start approaching their employer.
That's the key thing. That's important.
The time they stop paying you the rents, start approaching their employer so that it's in their knowledge. Then you can go to the other things, that open room, and complain to them so that they can hit their credits. That's the good information
you. So documentation, don't go to the face value of them. So here in Ontario, there are a lot of fake documents that come in. So call them, pick up the phone, talk to them, find out the information whether it's valid or genuine, because that will help you, in fact. Especially like amount, when we are talking about like 25,000 or 20,000, it's a big amount. I mean, as a landlord, it's not easy to recover that money, in fact.
So you went from all these hustle bustle, finally you won of your own without any help. You track these people by yourself. Any suggestion you want to make to our Attorney General or the system or the Premier that make these changes in the reform, bring these reforms in the LTB?
Absolutely.
What are those suggestions?
So one of the suggestions which I like in US, because I have some friend in US. So the moment the tenants stop paying, first or second, there's no LTB kind of things. I mean, you can have some evacuation order, because for landlord, rent is the key thing, especially small pop shop like me. I mean, not a big company. We have hard-earned money. It's basically we are paying from our own pocket.
So you said there should not be any LTB?
No, I mean, there should be straightforward law that if you stop paying 1 or 2 men, after that, either they expedite, I mean, you should not wait like 6 months or kind of thing, or there's an order that they have to evacuate.
Automatic eviction 2 months.
2 months.
If they don't pay for 2 months, automatic eviction should be there.
Automatically, there should be landlord. See, right now, all the law is in favor of tenants. I don't know, because of the political reason for whatever the reason, it's not good for the landlord. So Ontario is not good for the investment, and that's why more and more landlords are suffering. It's not balanced one. I would suggest, I mean, for Attorney General and Premier, that make it fair play ground, where landlord and have the same tenant. I know there's some landlord is abusing. Similarly, the tenants are abusing. But give some room where we can, I mean, have some investment, hard-earned money, where we invest on this thing. Otherwise, I mean, it's difficult.
What these documents you are carrying?
Oh, I have all documents which I do through the lawyers, and I gone through the statement.
Okay. Can you show to the camera, like, what are these documents?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I have, this is called, I mean, the statement of my balance.
Okay.
I got this one, garnishment from the employer. So I was keep in touch with the employer. They will keep sending me the statement. And then I have open room statement. So what the good part is, they calculate the interest rate.
I see.
So daily basis, the interest rate they calculate. So I recovered based on these documentation, and of course the LTB order, which we have to do this thing. So documentation is key. I mean, you have to keep record all this and track them. I mean, unless you don't track, it will be very hard to recover.
Thank you very much. You came forward and you share your story. It will help many and many landlords here in Ontario. It's very helpful, because they will get the information and now they know how to track their bad tenants.
Absolutely. I'm ready to help these kind of landlord who are suffering it. Anything if I can do, I'll be happy to do that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we heard this landlord who recovered his lost rent from the bad tenant. If you are a landlord and you suffered the same thing, you can approach him. You can take advice or go to the lawyer, but the suggestions which he gave us: track your bad tenant, reach to the, keep the documentation, proper documentation, go for the garnishment, go after their employer, and go to the open room and other website also, so that their credit history can be hit. So by this way, we can collect our lost rent. And moreover, our system here in Ontario, our Attorney General, our LTB, there needs to be, it should be a fair for landlords and tenants, so that if landlords are suffering, they should have a tools in their hand. If tenants are suffering from the bad landlords, they should have a balanced approach. So hopefully Attorney General is listening and they will act this year on this, because if our Attorney General make a decision on this file, then it will be really good for all the landlords here in Ontario.